Hello, you all know that General Studies paper 2 of UPSC mains has 5 components, that is constitution, government polity, social clauses, governance, and finally international relations. Today, I will be giving you an idea of framework of preparation for IR sections of GS2. International relations. In short, we say IR. IR is covered in 4 topics out of 20 of GS2 paper. These are 17, 18, 19 and 20. Which are the topics? Topic 17, topic 18, topic 19 and topic 20. Topic 17 talks about neighborhood. Fine. Topic 2 talks about groupings. Okay. It talks about groupings. Topic 3 talks about developed and developing countries. And topic 20 talks about international institutions, agencies, and forums. Fine. So these are the 4 topics which are there in your syllabus or in your curriculum. Now, let us just go briefly on this. I am not discussing about each of them in detail. I am just trying to give you an idea how you will prepare yourself on these subjects. Neighborhood is having 2 areas. One called immediate neighborhood, and extended neighborhood. There are these 2 areas in neighborhood. Then groupings. Grouping also has 3 areas. There can be bilateral, there can be multilateral, there can be regional. So various types of groupings are there. then developed and developing countries. So developed and developing countries, they have various dimensions, they have various issues, so that has to be covered there. And topic 20 is on international institutions, agencies and forums like UN. Fine. Within UN there are a number of them. There are, what you call UNESCO, there are ECOSOC, then there are WTO, WHO, and like that, there are a number of them. There are also international institutions and forums outside UN system, and that has to be also looked into. So there can be UN based and there can be non-UN based. But if you look at the GS2 questions, you will see mostly the questions come from UN related thing, but that doesn't mean that other things cannot come. That can also come, but many of them may come in the regional or multilateral groupings also. Okay, so this is how it goes. So this is more or less in brief the syllabus of international relations of General Studies 2. Now let me just take one after another. First let me take first one is topic 17, which is about neighborhood, that is immediate neighborhood and extended neighborhood. Now let me just draw a small circle. Let me just draw a small cycle. So this can be called as immediate neighbor. Immediate neighborhood. This can be called as immediate neighborhood. And then let us make another circle around it. This can be said as extended neighborhood. Extended neighborhood. Then there can be a third cycle. This is international. This is international. Now, India's relationship or India's focus, India's strategy, India's plan of actions, India's level of engagement or nature of engagement with immediate neighborhood or the countries within immediate neighborhood cannot be identical, cannot be similar to the extended neighborhood. Whatever India's relations or India's focus for immediate and extended cannot be identical or similar to the rest of the world. So when you are discussing neighborhood, we will not go into this part because this will come in other area, but these two cycles will be definitely coming within that purview, within that canvas. Fine. Now, what is India's immediate neighborhood and what is India's extended neighborhood? Fine. Now, extended neighborhood idea, it did not have earlier in India's foreign policy. Right? India's originally, just in brief, India began with international concept that is called NAM, non-aligned movement, and then from 1965 onward, it concentrated upon the immediate neighborhood concept. So that is basically with Pakistan problem, East Pakistan, West Pakistan conflict, and also India-Pakistan conflict. Out of that, India slowly entered into, along with international focus or immediate neighborhood focus. Later on, India, from around 1997 onward, India has taken extended neighborhood concept very seriously. It has defined what extended neighborhood means, and over the period, which is around now, you can say 25 years, India has been very organized way, very structured way, shifting its focus to extended neighborhood area too. So far, India's immediate neighborhood is South Asia, that is called SAARC countries. There are 7 countries in that. These 7 countries are India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Bhutan and Afghanistan. These are its, one second. These are its seven immediate neighbor. Of them, Afghanistan became part of SAARC in 2007. Right? So this is India's exclusive zone. So that will be the primary focus area. Then what is extended area? Extended area, there are number of zones, not one zone. Okay, number of zones. Which are the zones? Okay, let me just write down here. I believe it will be easy. If I list it out here, fine. So in Asia itself, there are 3 port zones: Southeast Asia, Northeast Asia, East Asia or Far East Asia, then Central Asia, then West Asia. So in Asia itself there are 5-6 zones, right? After Asia, there are other zones. Okay, so Africa, basically East Africa. East Africa has very large number of quite large number of countries. All these will come. Southeast Asia also is having a large number of countries. So East Africa is another area. Then there is Indian Ocean region. Indian Ocean region. Right? Don't think that each zone is having a distinct group of countries. Sometimes it is overlapping. Some of the Southeast Asia country may be also Indian Ocean region. Okay, so that way sometimes it may be overlapping. So don't look at them different way. This has been grouped, and then Asia Pacific. Then Asia Pacific is a huge region which starts from Canada America to Latin America, but all are not definitely extended neighborhood for India, but some of the countries that are falling within this area also come under extended neighborhood area. So these are the total areas of India's extended neighborhood area. And extended neighborhood is becoming an important area of intervention through foreign policy for India over the period, particularly in last 20 years time. Okay, so therefore we have to have an attention towards that also. Even the questions come from that area, particularly India's relations with Central Asia, which is becoming important. India's relationship with Southeast Asia has been, gaining importance. This is also a very, very important area for it. So you will have to also, have some clear knowledge about all these areas. So this is what is neighborhood concept. So when you are reading, you must see that you have fairly good idea and understanding, not only knowledge but also good idea and understanding about this area and India's benefit to have relationship with them, which way India is trying to develop relationship with them, what are its dimensions. So that also you must see. Next is topic 18. T18. That I said groupings. Groupings. And groupings has bilateral, multilateral, regional. So various types of grouping, at least these three I am taking here. Now bilateral groupings can be like, India and Gulf countries, okay, or India and South Asia, fine. So this is called bilateral groupings, okay. That kind of groupings can be there, and you see that very often this kind of groupings are emerging. There can be multilateral groupings, okay, like there is SCO, okay, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or ASEAN is itself is a regional grouping or multilateral grouping, fine. So this kind of groupings are there. So India can have a bilateral relation with one of the countries like Myanmar or South Asia, and also it can have a relation as a whole with ASEAN, okay. It can have relation with Central Asia. It can also have relationship with entire SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, in which Central Asia is a major stakeholder. So this kind of, bilateral, regional, then global, various groupings are there, and you have to see that what are the major activities of which groups have taken place in the recent time, and accordingly you must prepare. Not that all groupings are contributing very significantly in a particular historical time or particular year or a period. So those who are not doing that may not become so important for the exam, but you must have some knowledge about them. So this is how you'll have to see that, particularly not knowing about these groupings, but how these groupings are becoming beneficial, or how it is impacting, may not be always beneficial. It can have negative impact also in India's foreign policy. So how it is impacting upon India's foreign policy, that is the area where you will have to focus upon, fine. So this is the second part of your preparation. Definitely when you are attending the classes, wherever it may be, you will know more detailed about them, but I am just giving that how your framework should be. Then third one, is developing, that is T19, developed and developing countries, developed and developing countries. You might be seeing that India is, maintaining a balance to maintain relationship between the developed countries, those who are industrially advanced countries, with them in one form, and also with the developing countries in another form, like for energy security, for international security, for defense preparedness. India is developing better relationship with the industrially developed countries, while on the issue of free trade, on the issue of better licensing system, or minimizing negative impact of globalization on the least developed countries or poor countries, or on climate change issues, more relaxation for the underdeveloped countries or developing countries, India will be with the global south. So that way India is maintaining relationship with different kind of countries in a different way. India is more closer always with the earlier colonized countries of Asia and Africa, that is from the very beginning of its independence days, and India has been still maintaining that position. It maintains relationship with them, it stands by them, but also on the other hand, India wants to grow as a viable stakeholder in international politics, and therefore India is also one of the important countries now in the world. You might be seeing that even when Russia and Ukraine are in conflict, that India also has a role in that, whether India is taking the position leaning towards Russia or USA or West, that becomes a major point of discussion now. That shows that India's importance as an international player in world politics is increasing day by day. So this is the another dimension, and third dimension, a fourth dimension, that is T20, that is international institutions. Agencies, right? So this is an area on which also question comes very frequently. It may not be always India related, but whatever these institutions or agencies do, and that has some impact to all the contracting parties or member countries of United Nations, and therefore India is also being a country of being a member of United Nations is definitely impacted by those decisions, and therefore these institutions' role, like what WHO has done, on corona or COVID-19 pandemic or vaccination. This also is important for India, or WTO, what it does for free trade, what does it do for intellectual property right, that becomes a matter of concern or matter of pleasure for India too. So it has impact on India too. So this way, various organizations which take role, that also becomes matter. Let me go back to T19, developed and developing countries area. For example, now there is a Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine are now in conflict. Now, what kind of impact it may create on India? Because India is depending on Russia on many things. India is also having trade and commerce relationship with Ukraine on many areas. Fine. Now, also India is in many ways is in relationship on trade and relationship with EU and America, who are opposing Russia. Now, nobody knows that where this war finally will end, in which direction, but which way it will impact upon India. So that is called the T19 developing countries. So something may happen only in the developed world, or it may happen only developed and developing world, and which way that will have impact upon India. So that is another area of your curriculum or syllabus. Therefore, please take them seriously and prepare accordingly. Why it is important? Because every year, if you notice, if you make a mapping of the questions, you will see that at least 4 or 5 questions come from international relations. And you cannot ignore that 5 questions, because you will have to answer them. And once you know them very well, and you have good command, then writing answers on international relations is not that difficult, and therefore you can fetch number also on this area. International relations, there are certain areas, okay, that you need to know little bit. Fine. So, what are the international relations? Which way? What kind of types of international relations? Kinds of relations, kinds or types of IR. One major area of international relation is always security. Always security, national security. Now this security can have 2 parts. One can be military security. That means, your territorial sovereignty, your political system, and other is non-military, okay? That is called non-defense, non-military, non-defensive, like energy security. Or cyber security. Okay, or maybe climate security. Okay, so it can be of various kind of securities. So security is a major area. That is one. 2 is trade and commerce. Trade and commerce. Trade and commerce has become important from 1991 for India and 1994 for the world, because India embraced liberalization of economy in 1991 and WTO TRIPS came in 1994, therefore it became a world liberalization or free trade through globalization impact. So from that time onward, trade and commerce, this has become an important area, and every countries now try to have an international trade and commerce to generate revenue, and everybody will have to see that unless I get market to export my products, and unless I import necessary goods from all over the world, I will not be able to survive properly. So this becomes a second important area of international relations. Third important area is called political. Okay, that means it is diplomatic. This can be diplomatic relations, this can be political negotiation. You might have seen that it has come in the newspaper that if in Ukraine people had a what we call our Indian flag, tricolor flag, then they got a passage, free passage or peaceful passage to leave the country. So it is called political, because India has established that kind of negotiation so that both Ukrainian army and Russian combating forces, they have not touched upon, they have not targeted if people are carrying tricolor flag of India. So this is possible only when you have better diplomatic relationship or you have better political relationship or effective political and diplomatic relationship. So then only it becomes possible. So this is one example. Like that, many countries try to develop diplomatic relations with other countries, okay, and that way, they try to negotiate. You might have seen that Ukraine President Zelensky is for the last couple of days again and again telling that, I like to have a dialogue with Russia and please stop war and have direct, discussion between me and Putin. This is called diplomatic. This is called political. So that means Ukraine is departing from, a strict, hard military, military security to diplomatic, negotiation. So these are called political. Then there are social and cultural. I think I can rub it now. You have understood it. So this portion can go. I can add 4 here. Four here is called social and cultural. Social and cultural. Social and cultural, like you have seen, Pravashi Bharatiya, okay, then Indian fair, or some people are going for tourism, or there are other festivals when it is organized. So these are called cultural relationship, developing cultural relationship. It can be through sports. Okay, you are participating in Asian Games, in Olympic, in various other games. There can be cricket diplomacy. All they come under socio-cultural. Also, thousands of students have gone to Ukraine for medical study. It is called also social and cultural relationship. Because Ukraine will have to give admission to Indian students, then only they can go. Similarly, many African students, they come to India, or students from the neighboring countries also come to India for studies. These are all called socio-cultural relationship. And 5 is ideological. Ideological, okay, like whether we will be pro-West or will not be pro-West, whether we will be very close to America or will not be very close to America, whether we will be very close to China or will not be close to China. Okay, so these are various kinds of ideological considerations are there. These ideological considerations can be divided, like world was divided for a long time between socialist and capitalist, and now it is divided about West and non-West, or global South and global North. Various kind of ideological considerations are there, and based on their also relationships develop. So this is briefly the framework for preparation which you must follow to have better command over international relations aspect of general studies too. If there is any need, any support, any cooperation, please get back to us. Thank you very much for attending or listening to this presentation.